Loyalty is a prerequisite for love. Let me say that again. Loyalty is a prerequisite for love. You cannot genuinely love someone if you are not loyal to them. So this is gonna be a good video, and there's a lot of fake love going around. There's a lot of fake love being promoted. A lot of fake love advice being given out. I need to set the record straight. I need to put the truth out there and give a different opinion from what's going on, because I see a lot of too far this way, too far that way when it comes to love and relationships and all of that. So a lot of people think you could love someone without being loyal to them. I hate to break it to you, that's fake love. That's not real love. And so as regards to like being loyal to someone, I would say loyalty is not only a prerequisite, but it is the main factor when it comes to loving someone, love and relationships. Because if you're not loyal to someone, how can you claim you love them? And think about it. I use an example. Your mom. A lot of people say a lot of Redpill and all these people say the only unconditional love you get is from your mother. Okay, so the only unconditional love you get is from your mother, and a lot of these dudes claim, oh, if you're a high value man, you can cheat on your woman, and you should cheat on your woman because you're high value enough. Let me just ask a question. Would you find it okay? Would you be totally fine with someone cheating and disrespecting your very own mother, the woman who you claim is the only woman you're gonna get unconditional love from? So she's the woman you should care about the most, and you should, like, if somebody disrespects her, you should be extremely like hurt or disappointed or angry or upset with that. But what they're saying is, oh, if you're a high value man, you cheat on a woman. Well, guess what? That is the biggest nonsense I've ever heard in my life. If you're a true high value man, what's in the word high value? Value. To be truly high value, it's not about clout, it's not about money, it's not about any of that vanity and shallow garbage. It's about your values and your morals. You cannot say you're a high value man and you don't have any values. Oh, I have a lot of money and I have a lot of clothes and I have a lot of girls that I sleep with, so I'm high value. No, that's a fake high value. That's not high value. That's what people are perceiving as high value. Why? Because they want to follow everything celebrities do. Well, let me tell you something. The people with the least values and morals are celebrities. They have no God in their life. So let's get real. Where do values and morals come from? Values and morals come from God. So regardless if you believe in God or not, the universe cannot create itself. You cannot get something out of nothing. So the only possible explanation for the creation of the universe is for a creator, a God who is infinite. Because if God wasn't infinite, something would have to create him, and it would just be a constant loophole. So the only logical explanation for the universe is God created it, an infinite God. Obviously, you can't, everything just popped up, the most complex things ever, that everything you look at is created, but the universe itself wasn't. That's so illogical and dumb. I'm not even going to get into it. But there's no one on this planet Earth, no scientist, no astrophysicist, none of that, that's going to convince me that God's not real. I know for a fact God's real. And I hope that you will find out as well. But here's the thing. If you're not seeking God, if you're not trying to know about God, you will not find him. Seek and you will find. You must humble yourself, and then God will present himself to you. If you don't humble yourself and you don't believe in God and that there could ever be a God, you're not gonna have any proof. You're not gonna have any validation of God's existence. But really, just with basic logical reasoning that nothing can't turn into something is so illogical. I don't know how so many people run with that. Obviously, there had to be a creator, a God. And then when you have the Bible, which is the Word of God, that is the most validated, like verifiably, objectively correct book in the history of the world. Why? Because it doesn't matter if you're in Africa, Jamaica, Italy, France, California, New York, Miami, Hawaii, South America, Dominican Republic. It does not matter where you are. The Word of God holds true regardless. It holds true in 1920, in 1420, in 2020. Jesus' teachings hold true. Now, how do we also verify this? Well, you can look at the 10 Commandments to start. Do not murder, do not steal, do not cheat, etc. And then you can look at, why do people break up? One of the main reasons, is probably the main reason, is for cheating, is infidelity. So one of the main reasons that people break up and end the relationship is because of infidelity. And now you got people saying, oh, infidelity's fine as long as you have money. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Now, secondly, what does God say to do? God says to be a virgin until marriage. And you may say, okay, well, I don't believe in that, whatever. And this is my point. God's word is verifiably proven correct by simply applying his word to your life and applying his word to the world. I mean, trust me, I followed the world. Get money, get laid, get all these material possessions and do all this. That's not fulfilling. You will not find fulfillment in material possessions, in meaningless sex. You find fulfillment in following God. That's how you know his word is true, because by applying it to your life, it is proven true. Now let's apply the simple statistic of who is the happiest in marriage. The happiest marriages, this is a statistical objective fact, are two virgins that get married. And ding, 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 coincidence, what do you know? That's exactly what God says to do. So it's no coincidence that God's way is what brings you the most happiness and the most fulfillment. The most happy marriages and the most successful marriages are two virgins who get married. Now, does that mean, oh, everybody has to be a virgin? I'm not a virgin. Most people aren't virgins. The point is, that is the standard, and the standard that God sets is the one that is proven correct. It's proven correct with statistics that have nothing to do with God. It's just saying virginity. Two virgins get together and get married, they have the most happy marriage. And that's exactly what God says to do. So what does society say to do? They say sleep around. Guess what? Two virgins that get together and get married and start having sex, it's impossible for them to get an STD, a sexually transmitted disease, if they are both virgins. Now there may be some like, oh, you can sit on a toilet seat or you can drink water bottle or something like that. maybe, but like for most of sexually transmitted diseases, like it's literally transferable through sex. And if you have two virgins who have never had sex, it's impossible for them to get an STD. Ding, problem solved. What else? It is impossible by following God's way, not society's way, not celebrity's way, to have a baby out of wedlock, to have an unplanned pregnancy. That goes south. And what are all these men complaining about? Oh, child support, man. She just took me clean, man. She cleaned me out with this child support, man. As if they didn't choose to go inside of her. And see, that's the problem. People don't take any personal responsibility these days. One, the problem is they don't obey God. They don't even know God. Two, they don't take any personal responsibility for their actions. So what happens with this whole red pill community and all this, they're overcorrecting with the modern woman. Like, don't get me wrong, the modern woman is disastrous, and it's honestly sad. Like, I used to get mad, like, oh my, these women are hoes, man. Why are they so dishonest? Why are they such hoes? Like, but now I just get sad, bro, because it honestly is sad to see a woman's most valuable possession, literally the only thing a woman has to do is be pure, not be promiscuous. Like, don't be promiscuous and be good looking, and you will literally get wifed up. That's literally all you have to do. And they can't even do that. But why is the reason? The reason is they're following society. The reason is they're following Cardi B, who's a rapist druggist, who drugs and robs people. But because she's a woman, she gets away with it. So they're following her advice. Oh, don't cook, don't clean, and do all this. Be a hoe, be promiscuous. You're ruining your main number one valuable thing. The number one valuable trait and characteristic of a woman is her purity. Now, this is also proven true through statistics. The least likely women to cheat are virgins. Why? Because they value their purity. If a woman's sleeping around and she's been with 10 dudes, 15, 20 dudes, you think she's going to care about 21 or 22 or 20? At that point, the toothpaste is out the bottle. Like, once the toothpaste is out the bottle, there's no putting that toothpaste back in the bottle. So once you lose that virginity and once you start sleeping around, there's no going back. The only way that you can be transformed is by God. But again, everybody in society has this disdainment towards God, as if his advice isn't the most objectively correct advice when it comes to relationships and love. He says the two become one flesh. So God is actually the most romantic out of all of these advice that you're hearing on the internet and all that. God is the most romantic, because he says two become one flesh. That means they stay together forever. And even God himself says the only reason for divorce is infidelity. So literally the only reason that God gives to divorce the love of your life, your soulmate partner that you're supposed to be together forever, is cheating, is disloyalty. So then you have people nowadays talking about, oh, disloyalty is fine as long as you're high value. Bro, it's brainwashing. It's brainwashing. But I know what it is. And see, they're not slick. I know exactly what it is. Because of the modern woman and how much she's been brainwashed into being promiscuous and just not being submissive, not being feminine, not retaining her value, which is her purity. Men have come along and been like, well, women, It's not fair. These ugly women can get like 300 matches on Tinder and get free meals and all this. And oh, women are hoes, man. Actually, you know what? Cheating isn't cheating for men. Let's run it. Hell, hold on. Let me try this, bro. Cheating isn't cheating for men. It's only for women. Oh, dude, they're falling for it. They're falling for it. Hey, they're falling for it. Let's run with it. Let's run with it. that's what they're doing. They're just trying to run with it. But the thing is, they're not slick, bro. They're not fooling nobody. Because really, if you dig into the research, one, you know that the number 1 or 2 reason for divorce is infidelity. So they complain all the time about, a woman divorced me and took half my money. They don't mention the fact that he cheated on her in infidelity. But then for some reason they're like, well, cheating's okay for men because they're high value. Then why is the woman upset? And why is the woman getting a divorce because of her being upset because of you cheating on her? Like, it doesn't make any sense. They're just making excuses because they're trying to benefit from something. They're trying to overcorrect. The women have turned like just bad, promiscuous, disloyal, dishonest, lacking morals, lacking values, lacking modesty. So the men, they just try to overcorrect. And now with their basic toxic advice, they just basically say, get a rotation. Just get a rotation and just have sex with him. Don't do anything else. Well, this is speaking for somebody who tried their advice. Guess what? That is awful advice. You will end up losing your soul. You will end up not being fulfilled at all. I mean, think of how unfulfilling sleeping with a girl is, and then just not talking to her, and then sleeping with another girl, not talking to her, sleep with it. That's unfulfilling, and that's gross. It's not cool to have a rotation and sleep with multiple women. It's actually disgusting. And then, ta-da! Here's your reward, an STD. So if you want to go follow these high value men's advice, have fun with your STDs, and have fun with your unplanned pregnancy and your child support, which they claim they're always complaining about. So that's the other ironic part. If you're married to a woman you admire and you love, and she admires and loves you, and y'all are both loyal to each other, one, there's no STD. Two, there's no like unplanned pregnancy from some woman that you don't want to get pregnant. Like, even if you impregnate your girlfriend or wife, that's still like more acceptable, I guess, more tolerable than some random one night stand. So even in that sense, this way is proven correct. Loyalty is a prerequisite for love. We're going to touch more on that, but I'm just addressing multiple different factors of society and dating right now. So they overcorrect. Instead of doing what they properly should do, which is just teach men and women the truth, they say, oh no, just get high value enough to where you could just sleep with multiple women. But then it's a walking contradiction, because the number one thing they complain about is paying child support to a woman that they don't even want to be with, who's a hoe. So if you're paying child support to a woman you don't want to even be with, and you don't want her to be the mother of your children, why are you sleeping with her? And that's the whole point, is this advice is garbage, this red pill nonsense. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot in the red pill community that they speak on that's absolute facts. And a lot of it is like exposing women and the modern woman and how toxic they have become. But is the solution to fight fire with fire? Is the solution, like, two wrongs don't make a right. So if women are in the wrong, shouldn't our agenda be to preach the truth God's way, not our way? Like, I don't care what some random YouTuber or some article or some whatever podcast says. They're not God. I mean, think about the arrogance and the narcissism to think that your way is the best way. A flawed mankind, his way is better than what God says. See, I don't care what any mankind says. I care what God says. And what does God say? God says, wait till marriage to have sex. And then when you get married, have a lot of sex. So you're not even inclined to cheat. So God himself says, have a lot of sex when you're married. So you're not inclined to cheat. Because if you're always having sex, if you're having sex twice a day, why would you even want to go cheat? It's like you boo right there at the house. You're set. And that's what God said. He said, don't cheat on your spouse and have sex with them very often. That's what God said. And who is the happiest marriage? The exact people who follow what God said. Not what some random YouTuber or some famous rapper or whatever said. They don't have morals, they don't have values. They have money and that's it. They have clout, they have fame. That does not equate morality, that does not equate values, that does not equate being correct. So when I say loyalty is a prerequisite for love, that is the case. Because you cannot fully, if you don't fully give yourself to someone, you don't fully love them. And it's the main thing dudes complain about is, oh, she had these other dudes, man, she's not loyal. The same is true with men. Men just tried to manipulate the situation. And they tried to be slick with it and be like, let's put out this narrative that men can cheat and women can't because men and women are different. Yeah, men and women are different. That doesn't mean loyalty's different. That doesn't mean honesty is different. Honesty and loyalty are the same regardless of gender. Now, the problem is men aren't taking these women seriously, but instead of looking in the right place for the women, they just continue looking in the clubs and looking at, dude, like the Fresh and Fit podcast, they have all these girls on, right? And they're like, we've interviewed all these girls. Trust me, we know what girls think. It's like, no, I haven't seen a single church girl on there. I haven't seen a single religious girl on there. And I'll go as far as to say, I haven't seen a single girl that's not a hoe on there. Maybe a couple, maybe I'll say 5 out of the 1,500 or 2,000, whatever they interviewed. I've seen maybe 5 girls that weren't hoes. Max. So if you're always in the environment of promiscuous women, of trashy women, of hoes, of course, that's what you're going to think all women are like. And then if you're a woman and you're always getting with like trashy men who have no values, you're going to think all men are like that. I was this way. I was like, dang, bro, all these girls are trash, man. But guess what? You're not going to find a diamond going dumpster diving. You're not going to find a diamond in the trash can. So why are you looking for a wife at the club? Why are you looking for a loyal girl on Tinder? Which is a promiscuous, polyamorous app. I mean, think about it. What loyal romantic girl would be on Tinder? That doesn't exist. Because Tinder is a polyamorous app. You're messaging and swiping on hundreds of people. That's not romantic. So a genuine woman who's romantic and has the intentions of being loyal to a man and being a queen to a king, she's not gonna be on some dating apps. So that's the problem, is men are looking for women in the wrong places. And then they're being told the wrong things. I mean, there's nothing further than the truth that a man can be sleeping around and a woman can't. Not only is it not beneficial to the woman, it's not beneficial to the man. Because when you get an STD and bring it back to your wife, how do you claim you love her? Let me get an answer. How can you claim that you love a woman when you go out, cheat on her, and bring back and give her an STD? That's like saying 1 + 1 is 5. You can't. That's the answer to that question, is you can't. Because being disloyal to your partner is a sign of not love and fake love. Whatever you want to call it, it's not real love, it's not genuine love. So back to the point of, oh, would you let your mom get disrespected and cheat like that? If you're following their advice, it's okay. Yeah, I mean, men and women cheating aren't the same. But that dude that cheated on my mom and ruined the marriage, well, he's still high value. No, there's no excuse. It's objectively disproven if you actually are aware of the statistics and just values in general and what real love is. Real love is, and here's the other thing, real love and being a man of strength, is being able to resist the temptation of others. I've seen a lot of these dudes like, so if a girl, like if I'm out with a girl, right, and I got a girl at home and another girl just comes up on me and she's like, oh, let's go to the car and let me give you a BJ, or let me do, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? I have to. I have to. That's a sign of weakness. That's not a sign of alpha strength. That's literally a sign of weakness. You're lacking self-control and you have no strength to be able to reject them. See, me personally, I find more enjoyment and satisfaction in rejecting a girl than sleeping with her. Because especially when I learned about female nature, when you reject a girl, she goes crazy. She's like, wait a minute, what? You're rejecting me? That's crazy. But that's why women, for whatever reason, not all of them, but a lot of them, they like married men. It's like disgraceful, but it's like women want what they can't have. So if you're a man who has a woman at the house, bro, you should take pride in being loyal to her. You shouldn't be a weak, pathetic, disloyal loser who lacks integrity and go cheat on your wife or cheat on your woman just because, oh, I couldn't turn it down. I couldn't turn it down. What do you expect me to do? Turn it down or stay single. It's that simple. So it's absolutely unbelievable what they're pushing in the red pill community. They're just overcorrecting. It's like instead of preaching the truth, which is women, stop sleeping around and being hoes. Men, stop sleeping with hoes that you claim you're not attracted to even though you're sleeping with them. Like they have, no, that's just a sleep with category and a date category. There's two different categories. There shouldn't be two different categories. There should only be one. Which is, if you genuinely like someone, you go with that and you follow God's word and what he says. Not sleeping around. Like sleeping around, there's no benefit. There's literally only risk. Like, what benefit is there to sleep around with multiple women? Oh, I get to try different variety, yada yada. Okay, just stay single then. If you're truly strong and you're truly confident and you're truly alpha, you would just stay single. But the problem is they have scarcity because they're not truly strong. The strongest man in the room is the one who has a wife and rejects every other woman, wants nothing to do with any other woman, even if he gets some. Now think about it. What would be more attractive to a woman? A high value man who's loyal to his girl, or a high value man who sleeps around, risk STDs, risk unplanned pregnancies? I guarantee you 9 out of 10 women will say they prefer the high value man who is also loyal rather than the high value man who cheats. Now the thing is, most high value men will cheat because most men will cheat in general. And most women will cheat also. And that's what's wrong with society, is they're not following God. They don't know about God, they reject God, they don't obey God, and then look what happens. You're not going to be blessed by God if you don't obey God. So if you want to be blessed with a beautiful, loyal wife, but you're out sleeping around and you're out doing all this worldly stuff and you're lacking morals, you're lacking values, you're lacking integrity, don't be surprised when all you're dealing with is hoes who lack those morals and who cheat on you and who lack. And the other thing is, it's like, dude, literally, it doesn't work. Because the women, they're either going to get pissed and leave you, or they're going to cheat on you. It's called revenge cheating. Like, a dude will cheat on a woman and she'll find out, she'll get pissed, and then they're even more like evil about it. They'll cheat with your best friends or your brother or whatever, because they know how easy men are. So they'll revenge cheat on you, and they'll do it with one of your close friends. So it's not, women do not want a man that cheats on them. Do they want a high value man? Yes. Do they want a man that cheats on them? No. So that means the most attractive, admirable men on planet Earth is the high value man who also is loyal. Not the high value man who exercises his options. It is the most attractive men in the world are the high value men who are also loyal and honest. And that's who you're going to get the most love from. Because you may get like certain things from dudes, but you're not going to get that authentic, genuine, romantic love that women all claim they want unless he is a loyal person. Now, how many dudes are loyal? That's another question you have to ask. But to sit here and preach like, oh, the standard should be disloyalty, it couldn't be further from the truth. The standard should be loyalty, and I'm here to give the voice a difference of opinion, what I believe is the truth, because it's backed up by statistics and facts, and it's literally what God says. The best relationship, and I'll end on that. I didn't realize this video was this long, and it's getting hot. I'm sweating, my back hurts. But the number one way, I may make a separate video on this, to have a successful relationship that lasts forever, where both of you are getting genuine love from one another and loyalty, is to follow God's way that he says. Because two believers of God and followers of God, because there's a lot of people who say, oh, I believe in God, or I'm a Christian, or whatever, they don't follow it. I was in that path. I still am in the process of sanctification. But that is proven. It is literally, it's like 1 + 1 is 2. Now, if you don't want to follow 1 + 1 is 2, that's fine with you. You don't have to. That still doesn't negate the fact that 1 + 1 is 2. The analogy being, the number one successful way for a loving relationship is the context which God gives, which is to get married and never break up and never divorce ever, except if somebody cheats. But if somebody cheats, they're not obeying God. Because to obey God, you must not cheat on your spouse. And if they want sex, you must give it to them. That's what God said. And a lot of people don't know that, but that's what God said. If your body is not your own, it belongs to your spouse. So if you're a man and your wife wants sex, according to God, you are to give it to her. And vice versa. If you want sex, according to God, your wife is to give it to you. And I believe that is the number one formula for a successful relationship and marriage. Because if both of you are constantly doing the most intimate act which humans can do, which is sex, and making love, how could you possibly even want to sleep with anyone else? Because the more you have sex with somebody and the two become one flesh, and the more you gravitate towards knowing God, it's just, your relationship's just going to get better and better and stronger. And everyone knows the more sex you have in a relationship, the more healthy it is. But what they don't know is God is the origin of who advised that. So God's way is proven correct through statistics, through your own personal life, through my own personal life. Like, if you apply his word, it's proven correct. You don't need to see any physical evidence. It is proven correct with your experience and lifestyle if you obey him and have obedience. And it is already, it's a 1 + 1 = 2 proven fact that you will literally last forever in the most romantic way if you obey God and if you obey the Bible. Because God says, marry, the two become one flesh, and do not cheat on your spouse. But what is everybody doing? They're disobeying God, but they're doing it ignorantly because they don't even know God to begin with. They're secular. Like, secularism is the pathway to destruction. Believing in God is the pathway to success and fulfillment and true love, because God is love. So if God is love and he's telling you exactly what you need to do to get true love, and you're disobeying him, you're disobedient, you're following a different path, well, guess what? Don't be upset when things go wrong. And I'm proof of that. I followed that promiscuous path. Let me sleep around and let me get this money and just sleep around. There's no fulfillment with meaningless sex. It is the most intimate act you could possibly do. So if it is the most intimate act you can possibly do, it is not just exercise. It is not just exercising your options, or it's not just, it's nothing. Now, the men may not have an emotional attachment to it as much as a woman would, but that still doesn't mean it's not nothing. Like I said, you have the risk of STD, you have the risk of unplanned pregnancy, you have the risk of damaging your relationship with your actual woman. Like, if you have a loyal, good woman and you choose to cheat on her, you are an absolute idiot. And I have no empathy for you when your woman leaves you. I've seen it happen. A dude had a perfectly good woman. She was loyal to him. All he had to do was be loyal to her. And he cheated on her, and then she left him. And I'm like, bro, what did you think would happen? But what the Redpill said, the Redpill community said, yeah, but look at rappers. But it's about being rich. You're not high value enough. It's like, no, bro. It is unnatural to be attracted to that. So, well, you may be able to find somebody like Andrew Tate. I mean, he's worth 500 million. 99.9% of people are not ever in their life going to be worth 500 million. So it doesn't apply to literally everyone anyway. But even him, it's like, yeah, I have a woman and she knows I sleep around and she doesn't care and she still loves me. It's like, okay, is that real love though, or is that fake love? You don't know if she loves you for your money. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, you provide a lot of benefits for her. That doesn't mean that's real, authentic, genuine love. Now people say, oh, genuine love, real love, that doesn't exist. No, it doesn't exist in your environment. Because you're going to the club where it's purposefully sexualized and where trashy people go. And people who sleep around, it's a hookup type of culture. It's literally built for like hooking up. And you're going to the club that costs $100 to get into, and you're like, these women are hoes, man. They just, duh. Like, how many women have you met in the church? It's like, don't get me wrong, there's going to be some hoes in church too, some fraudulent people. But it's about your likelihood. It's about the chances. The chances of you finding a loyal wife are much higher in church than at the club. The chances of you finding a good, loyal man are much higher in church than at the club. Now, whether a man is going to be like all successful or whatever is obviously, you know, girls care about that because men are the providers. But what if you're providing and sleeping around with other people? Can you really say you love your woman if you're sleeping around with other people? The answer is no. Because even if they use the excuse, oh, but men just have to be loyal with the resources. You're putting your resources at risk by sleeping around with these hoes. Because if you get one pregnant, there goes child support. And then therefore, not only are you not loyal with your woman physically, you're not loyal with her financially either now. Because you got one of these hoes that you were sleeping around with pregnant. So any way you look at it, loyalty is a prerequisite for love. You cannot love someone without being loyal to them. That's the end of the discussion.